After being on the wait list, I finally was approved for Manus IM. And this email arrived and it shows the join Discord option. And I think we'll jump right into trying Manus and maybe look at Discord another time. So diving right into Manus, it provides the email and gives you options to sign up with your Google or Apple or other ID. I have an email I've used, so we'll go ahead and select that and click and get right into it and see what we can play with. And of course, Google warns you that it's sharing information, in this case, to Manus IM. And this page opens up. It says, thanks for being an early adopter. And it introduces the membership beta. And it says there's the mobile app that's available also. It throws out a few credits to start with, 1,000 free credits to start processing. And that's certainly helpful. And the Manus Mobile App, it's pretty straightforward to get. All we have to do is put the cursor over here, and you have this QR code, point your camera at it and your phone, and you'll be able to get that mobile app. Let's click subscribe now and see what's in here. And we see the offers. Manus Starter is $39 for 3,900 credits. Now we have 1,000, so we'll see how that holds up. And 199 gets you 19,900 credits per month, and it lets you run up to 5 tasks. Let's close this, and let's look at the tab here. You can see there's a standard and a high effort component, and then you can take a look at some of the case studies that appear right here. And these breakouts here just slice that case studies up into different categories, and in case you want to look at it. Let's go ahead and type in a request. We'll make it a somewhat complex request just to see how this holds up. So we're saying, please list cities and large towns where the climate in temperature that ranges from, say, 20 degrees Celsius to about 90 degrees Celsius that have decent safety and health standards for a potential American immigrant. I should have said immigrant. There was a mistype here. So Manus starts working, and now we're doing this at 4 times speed. It takes a fair amount of time and effort. And as it's crunching through, it itemizes each of the things that it's doing. And we can watch that here. Now, if we look at that text there, that gives you a few tips on how you can use it. And if you close that, another tab opens up. On the bottom, you can see the screens changing. And what it's showing you is the screens that it's viewing. What we'll do is we'll go ahead and select that so we can watch it in real time. So at this point, it's looking at this website, and it's picked out San Francisco, Key West, Savannah, Austin, and I realized that they're looking at U.S. cities. So just to be clear, I type in while it's thinking, I meant to say cities outside of the U.S., not just in the U.S. And it adjusts in real time. So you don't need to wait for it to finish before you amend the search criteria. Now that I've changed it, it started looking at world cities. You can see that on the right, it's working through the site Medium, which has some information, searching it for the information that we requested, and then it tries to digest that to present an update for us. It's still on the Medium site and still searching. And then it's past that stage, it's moved on to the next stage, and is beginning to work on each of the cities individually. And it's using the browser again. It looked at certain PDFs and it's moved to a site called Numbeo. This is a well-known site which captures perceptions of people who move to different places. And it's using that as one of the inputs to come to its conclusion. And then it's viewing the browser and it's updating the plan at this point. It's checked the boxes. It's analyzing the search results. And it's back at the Numbeo site. And it's updating the plan again and viewing the browser as it searches that site. I believe it's a Numbeo site that it's searching. Testing, it's analyzing the results again, and then it's building out a plan. And then it uses the browser again. It's looking at another site. We can see that this is an iterative process where it goes back and forth, getting data, analyzing, and comparing. And now it's looking at temperature for cities to do comparisons and determine whether it meets the standards that we've defined. And now we have the results. So let's take a look at the results. The results on the right side seem to address the climate, and it provides a safety analysis of some sort, and health standards analysis, cost of living comparisons, and it provides some data in comparative terms, comparing one city to another. And then it talks about visas and permanent status, residency, etc., how to get those. So it provides a fair amount of detail as we look through what's been generated as a report. It's almost like a report prepared just for you. So now we can download that report and we can save it. And that file's saved and we can look at that later. There's one pending item. Let's select that. Okay. Let's accept that. I don't think it changes anything, but I probably should have accepted that earlier. But one of the things you see with Manus is that thinking process it goes through, the data it's looking at, etc. Let's take a look at the new tasks. Close that window. I'm trying to figure out how many credits we used. We started with 1,000 credits. And so maybe I'll ask Manus if it can tell me how many credits I have left. And this is in real time. It's clearly looking to see whether it can figure out how many credits I have left. And it says that it does not have access to the credit system, so it can't tell me how many credits I have. So we'll have to find another way to get the credits. Perhaps we can look at what notification tells us. That's an introduction to Manus, and that's the QR code. Let's use a new task. Here, we can see it's 426 credits left, which means that we began with 1,000, so we've used up about 574 credits on this job. Now, let's compare that to running it on ChatGPT. Here's ChatGPT, it's up and running, and we'll use a command, I'll copy and paste it. That's pretty similar to what we used earlier, but this time we'll clarify that we want it to be outside of the US. So list of cities and towns outside the US, where the climate is within this range and has a good safety and health standard for someone moving from the US. And it's pretty quick. This is real time. It's not accelerated. It immediately comes back with a list by different continents. But it doesn't really give us any real quantitative data. It's no context and no sources. So we can dig down a little deeper. So we'll ask it to rank these cities that fit this profile without regard to continent by the state of development and access to residence visas for Americans. And ChatGPT starts listing them: Auckland in New Zealand, Hobart in Australia, Valencia, Spain, Madeira, Portugal, Las Palmas, Spain, Medellin, Cuenca, San Jose, Chiang Mai, and Dalat, Vietnam. But looking at this, it sounds like the residency visa for the Vietnam locations is kind of tough. So let's ask it to place this data in a tabular form and also to exclude the places that have difficult visas for Americans. So the exact sentence is, can you place this into a table and exclude any that have material challenges related to visas? And it reforms the table and says it's Auckland, New Zealand, Hobart, Valencia, Madeira, Gran Canaria, Medellin, Cuenca, and San Jose. It also provides with us the visa accessibility, what it takes to get there. So you can look at that and decide whether that's a good fit for your situation. To improve on this, we'll ask it whether it can update this list for retirees. So if you're a retiree, how would this list change? And now it's broken out to Valencia, Madeira, Las Palmas, Medellin, Cuenca, and San Jose. And then it starts to explain the circumstances, whether we want more information for each of these. I noticed that it excluded some cities that I visited that seemed pretty good. And I wanted to see whether it would pick them up. One of them was Montevideo in Uruguay. And the other is Argentina. There's some great towns and cities in Argentina. And just to see where it falls in. Did it just forget it, or would it fall somewhere in that table? I've asked it, where do Montevideo and towns in Argentina fall in this type of list? And it came back with a response from Argentinian cities. Cities I'd be interested in would have been Montevideo and Cordoba in Argentina. So now we're asking, how would Montevideo and Cordoba fit into the list that the system generated earlier? So we can get a relative ranking in terms of the cities that had previously listed. So we said, how would Montevideo and Cordoba rank in the prior list? Would it be at the bottom to somewhere inside that list? And it gives us a response pretty much in text form. So I'm going to ask it to do this in a tabular form to actually give us back that previous table. So I need to reference the table. Please use the table format. We look back up here and say, here's the one where Valencia is on the top. So please use the table format used earlier that begins with Valencia. We can see that the Valencia table's updated and that Cordoba has made it into the list. Let me see here. And I see Montevideo's made it on the list too. And it tells you what it takes to get that visa. So this is a relative comparison of the two. It looks like Manus seems to be working harder, but the end results seem to be pretty comparable. I hope this helps. Thank you so much for watching.